Hey listen, right? My beard is not uneven, alright? Some people have said in the comments that my beard looks one-sided. I have a light over there, not over here. The shadow cast makes it look that way. Anyway, we're back today, because guess what? It's time for another anime video. What? Another anime video? That's two? What? Yeah, you know what? Apparently you guys seem to really enjoy the last video. I knew it. I knew you guys were all secretly anime fans. In fact, some of you guys aren't even secretly anime fans. You're just anime fans. Either way, I knew it. If you guys didn't see the last video, I spoke about my personal top 5 anime series of all time. Some old, some new. If you haven't seen it, check it out. It's a good video, even if I say so myself. But honestly, jokes aside, thank you for kind of all the positive support on that, because whenever I get to do something slightly different, something that's like outside the normal stuff we cover, and you guys really enjoy it, it's really cool, because it's just nice to do different things, nice to be able to speak about different things, and anime is, believe it or not, something that is also close to my heart. So today, we're going to talk about anime series that I am currently watching this season. When I say this season, kind of a blend, because some of the seasons are coming to an end, and of course we're moving into the new season, so it's kind of half and half. Basically, I'm talking about 4 series. I'm talking about Fire Force, Dr. Stone, Vinland Saga, and a little bit of My Hero. Technically, it's only just come back, so there's not too much to say, but we're still going to talk about it anyway. Of course, there are still plenty of other series that are in my queue. I have my Crunchyroll subscription, and things have just been added to that queue. I've still got to watch Mob Psycho, I've still got to watch Gridman, I've still got to watch One Punch Man Season 2. There's a lot of things I've still got to watch. Either way, focus for today are those 4 series. If you guys aren't watching them, they're actually really cool. I want to start with Fire Force. Fire Force is a series that I got into. Shout out to Shez, my buddy from used to work at Bandai Namco. He told me about this. He showed me the trailer. I was sold the second I saw the trailer, right? But my journey for Fire Force has kind of gone through a little sort of like peaks and troughs, right? Because when it first came out, I was super looking forward to it, and the first couple of episodes were really cool, right? Fire Force goes off in the kind of typical sort of shonen bang, right? It starts off kind of flashy, what you expect from a shonen series, right? Lots of like high energy, cool combat, flashy stuff, all the kind of things you need initially just to be like, yo, all right, I'm excited, right? But for me, Fire Force had the unfortunate reality of also being alongside Demon Slayer, and for a lot of the episodes after, say, the first 2 episodes, it went through a little bit of a slow period, where anytime there was a fight scene in Fire Force, I would instantly compare it to Demon Slayer. I don't know that's a bad thing to do, right? I know they're very different anime, but I couldn't help but do it because I would, typically for me, I save all my anime up until the weekend, and I have like a watching session on a Sunday. I sit down, and I used to sit down and watch Fire Force, Dr. Stone, and Demon Slayer, Vinland Saga. That's kind of how I would spend my weekend, and I just sort of watch them all back to back, right? So obviously going straight from Demon Slayer, because that's where I started, and then watching the Fire Force episode, anytime there was a fight, I was like, it's just not as good as Demon Slayer. However, I feel like Fire Force, like the first few episodes beyond the kind of pilot episode. See what I did there? Pilot, because it's about fire. Beyond the pilot episode, went a little bit slow, but then it's now really started to kind of establish itself. Now it's started to get interesting. Now they're telling the story about the evangelist, you've got the hooded enemy showing up, and now things are starting to get really interesting. Now we've met Benimaru, who's a really, really cool character, and it's now got to the point which is where I thought it would be, which is kind of more in line with episode 1, where the fights are really cool. There's a lot of cool action. I mean, it doesn't always have to be action, right? But I'm watching Fire Force because I want that shonen fuel, right? I want that shonen fire. I definitely want that, and it's what it's starting to deliver, right? Now Fire Force gets to the point where it's got through this sort of slow setting the scene thing where I feel like they kind of had to, I don't know, establish the other fire companies, and now they're focusing more so on what really is the kind of overarching story, or at least what I believe to be the overarching story. I haven't seen any kind of associated manga for this, so I am purely on the anime timeline, but either way, things are definitely starting to get into like a much better pace now. So I would say if you haven't seen Fire Force, I would say definitely worth checking out now. Starts off quite well, goes a little bit slow, stay with it, and I think once you get through the first, say, 4 or 5 episodes, then it starts to kind of pick up, and now it's definitely really, really good. It's probably one of the ones that I'm looking forward to most on a weekly basis. It's now starting to get really interesting, some of the fights are really cool, so yeah, definitely want to see where that one goes. I do realise I didn't actually explain what Fire Force was, but then also if I spend the time explaining what all these series are, it's going to be a longer video. If you want to find out what Fire Force is, watch the trailer. I'll link it down below. It's just cool, alright? Give it a watch. Anyway, moving on from there, let's talk about Dr. Stone, because Dr. Stone, I started at the same time as Fire Force, right? And Dr. Stone is the one that has fast become one of my favourite series this season, and it's done a complete switch for me, right? Dr. Stone, I was about to call it Dr. Slow, started quite slow. right? It starts off, and of course, you know, you've got Senku, who's this clever science kid, and at first you're like, oh, you know what, fair enough. Like, I wasn't also kind of that sold on the art style, the animation style to begin with. I'm still not hugely a fan of the sort of character designs, but now that I've got more invested in the series, now I've got more invested in the characters as, you know, people and whatnot, I've kind of got to that point where the art style doesn't really bother me as much, and some of them still look kind of cool. Either way, it starts off quite slowly, right? It takes a few episodes to get going, and the very kind of quick premise is, of course, that the whole world effectively gets petrified. We don't know what the cause is just yet, but basically everybody turns to stone. You know, you kind of start seeing this because initially birds start going to stone, and then there's like a big green light. Everyone turns to stone. Fast forward some many thousands of years, and people start to, well, I say people, very few people start to wake up, start to break out of the petrification, and lo and behold, Senku, our scientist, our genius kid, is one of those people, and he then sets about kind of, you know, it's basically his task to revive humanity and work out how to do all this stuff. Now keep in mind that effectively you've gone from the current modern age, like now, to the Stone Ages, because of course with everything being petrified and stuck in stone for like 3,000 or 4,000 years, then technology is basically non-existent. So Senku's then using everything that he's learned to effectively redo things like in a much quicker way. You know, it's not going to be like the Stone Age where the cavemen have to physically discover this stuff. Senku's already got the knowledge. So now it's about rapidly getting back up to that position. And this is where things start getting interesting, right? Because again, the first couple of episodes, a little bit slow. Of course, once he wakes up, it's all about the initial, you know, setting up your base, kind of starting to understand things. But then it's got to the point now where they're really starting to kind of build their team. There are some really kind of interesting characters. They started to build their kingdom of science. And I mean, I'm not a scientist, right? I haven't actually bothered to go out to find out if the scientific stuff they speak about in this is actually true. I couldn't really care less either way. Point is, right, seeing them effectively trying to jumpstart civilization and quickly get from like the Stone Age they're in now to like modern things. You know, of course they're going around trying to create like bits of electricity, or they're trying to go around creating like drugs so that they can, you know, help cure people, or trying to make things like metals and glass and like armor plating. And it's just like, it's really funny. And of course sort of seeing how they picture things together, and having someone like Senku, who is a very intelligent character but also has some of the best facial animations I've seen. Like some of his really like grumpy or angry, or not even angry, like the kind of creepy looking faces he makes are just, yeah, they're hilarious. So Dr. Stone is definitely one of those series that it's probably a bit of a harder sell initially to kind of like get people into, just to be like, oh, you know, humanity slows down and then they're trying to sort of like rebuild and whatnot. But when it gets going and when you kind of really get into it and you just sort of like every single week they're progressing like little by little, and you can slowly sort of see them getting back to, you know, it's still a long way, but getting back to kind of where they need to go. And this most recent episode, of course, finding out who Senku's father is, and of course finding out that element of the story. Now I'm suddenly like, oh, when are these two story beats going to link up? Because things are about to get pretty interesting. So yeah, that is very different, and as a series that, you know, I honestly thought when I started it that I wasn't really going to stick with it because it was that slow to begin with for me personally. But I'm glad that I did, because yeah, that one shaping up very nicely. Of course, the next one, Vinland Saga. This one is kind of an easy sell, right? Vinland Saga is a Viking anime. I mean, I'm not actually a Viking, but basically, I like my Vikings, right? And the idea of Viking anime, very cool. Same animation studio that did Attack on Titan, so if you like that from a visual animation and quality standpoint, then that's already very good. Vinland Saga is very easy to get into. It already starts off very quickly, starts off very easy to get into. There's some epic battles right from the very first episode, and initially, I'm not going to kind of talk too much about the story beats, because if you guys do want to see it, I don't want to spoil anything, but initially when you kind of see some of the characters and see how cool they are in combat, straight away you're like, yo, I can get behind this, right? And you of course then fast forward to where we are currently, and we've got some really cool characters. One of my favourite ones is, I'm basically describing by like, he's a giant Viking who is very strong, stupidly strong, inhumanly strong, and of course because it's an anime you can get away with that. I'm talking this guy can pick up boulders and pick up huge tree logs and just throw them at things. And when of course there were, you know, there was an episode where people will come in to try and battle this guy, and he's literally, I mean, he has men to back him up, but he's basically single-handedly winning this. Like, he's just destroying ships by throwing rocks and stuff. It's stupid, but it's also brilliant at the same time. There's also the kind of slightly more serious undertone, of course, we surround the main character. This is the part I'm trying to sort of dance around because I don't want to speak about it too much, but of course, trying to sort of see his progression, see where he's gone from like episode 1 to where he is right now, seeing him get better in combat, seeing him kind of go through all the different trials, seeing him, like, you know, progressively change as a character is also very cool. And this is one of those ones that's had some pretty cool fight scenes, and I feel like once this character gets even better, I honestly think on the horizon, we've probably got some very, very cool fight scenes ahead of us, and they're the sort of things that I cannot wait to see. This one's also happens to be on Amazon Prime, not on Crunchyroll, but if you guys want to see it, you can just check it out there. So I'm watching that one right now. And of course, most recently this week was the second episode of My Hero. I did used to read the My Hero manga. I stopped reading it. I kind of just decided to watch the anime. I like reading manga for some series, but some of them I just kind of enjoy seeing them animated, and My Hero is one of those. I just like sort of sitting there and just kind of seeing it all come together. So I am purely on the My Hero or the Boku no Hero anime timeline. So if any of you guys have been reading it, please don't tell me. But this most recent episode was really cool because, of course, with the Yakuza kid rolling up and him showing his powers, which are basically making him kind of like Rogue from X-Men, which is kind of cool. But seeing him in the meeting with the League of Villains, I'm very interested to see where this goes. I wonder whether there's going to be sort of like a interesting dynamic where they sort of team up and then there's like a double-sided plan to this kind of thing. I can't see them wanting to kind of team up in the way that he wants them to, but I could also sort of see them teaming up in a way whereby they're doing it for the greater good. So I'm definitely interested to see where that one goes, but of course, with there only being like 2 episodes of the new season, there's not a great deal to speak about My Hero at the moment, but of course, it's just a series that I do love. Of course, I've enjoyed all the series up until this point, and again, kind of falls into that shonen bracket. I like a lot of my shonen series, and this is just shonen meets superheroes, so what's not to like? Anyway, that's what I'm currently watching. That is where I'm currently at. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. There will probably be some more anime videos. In fact, there will definitely be more anime videos. Guess what? I finally got tickets to see Promare, which is next month. Of course, the Trigger series that I was talking about, the movie that I haven't been able to see up until this point because it was out in Japan. They showed it in the States. We finally have dates in London. I booked my tickets, so that's next month. Once I've seen that, I fully intend to sit down and chat to you guys about it because I'm very excited. Anyway, that's it. Another anime video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know in the comments down below what you guys are watching this season, what else I should be checking out, and catch you in the next one. I really hope you guys enjoyed that video. Remember to hit that subscribe button and also click on the little bell icon to turn on notifications so you don't miss my next upload. Also, don't forget, you can check out 269 and Paradise Central streaming over on Twitch 6 days a week. You can find a link to the multi-stream in the description box down below. Be sure to drop by and get involved. Thanks again for watching. Take it easy. Catch you next time. Peace out.